Fellas, say goodbye to Chuck Sherman the boy. I am now a man. I highly recommend you join the club. We are doing the wild thing all night.
Acid house music.
Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Sherm.
Sherman, I cook all this food. Is that all you gonna eat?
General Sherman realized and understood the importance of house music.
So, do you know anything about techno?
No.
Listen.
Yo, what's good, everyone, and welcome back to another brand new episode of Sherm in the Booth. I'm, of course, your host, Sherm. Today is Wednesday, July 26, 2021. This is episode 171, and wow, do we have an episode for you today. Episode 171 features two incredibly talented individuals known as local singles. 2021 has been quite the year for these guys, and we were laughing all the way through this one. We got it all in during this interview and discussed their early inspirations and influences. Both hardcore Bostonians, but apparently not Bruins fans. I might get them in trouble for saying that, but Chaz and Zach met at a very young age, and music has always been a big part of their lives. Chaz has been producing for over 10 years, but Zach brought him into the dark side a few years ago, and they joined forces to create a house duo with one goal: make an impact. We also ran through their discography. In their breakout year of 2021, they've released some bangers like Lose Control with Poolhaus and Boiish on Space Yacht, Lighters with FOVOS on Vibrancy, the Sweatyriddimz EP on Hood Politics, and Mirrors on In Rotation. They also just dropped a very special track called Ill Provide with Cloverdale on Techne Records. Needless to say, they are on fire! We also talked about the state of house music. We had a great conversation on where we think house music is going over the next couple of years. If one thing is certain, there's no doubt that producers continue to get more and more creative with every release. There are no limits to what you can do in the studio, and collaboration has never been more prevalent in the community. Get ready for some sounds like you've never heard before. I really mean it when I say these guys are building something so special and are working extremely hard to make their dream come true. They're hustlers with raw talent, and that's something we can all get behind. Much love and respect to the local singles boys. And they are actually single right now, so get in line, ladies. But enough of me talking, let's get into it right now so you guys can hear their story for yourselves. This is episode 171 with local singles. Ladies and gentlemen, hello, and welcome to a very special episode of Sherm in the Booth. I'm here with Zach and Chaz, aka Local Singles.
Woo!
What's up, boys? I'm coming to you from Chicago. You guys are both in Boston right now, right?
Yes, sir.
Hell yes. Home of the Bruins. You guys hockey guys?
I mean, not as much as we should be, quite honestly.
I thought that's like you have to be a big Bruins fan to live in Boston. Is that not true?
Yeah, I mean, this really should have been part of the off-the-record pre-recording part of the interview.
Oh, shit, I just outed you right away.
We're going to get fucking killed now when we go out in South. Everyone's like, oh, you guys don't even like the bees. Yeah, we're bandwagon guys. Like, we're bandwagon Bruins guys. We came up during the Patriots golden era, and we're the worst guys in the world. I know.
You are. I'm a Colts fan, too. I came up in the Peyton Manning era, bro. That was you guys were tough for me. That was what a rivalry. Like, that's going to be the biggest thing of, I mean, it's already something I miss. I was going to say it's going to be something I will miss, but it's been dead for years because it's just the Patriots suck. The Colts are actually pretty good right now, or have been pretty mediocre. Okay.
Yeah.
We're small market teams. We like to be just good enough to lose in the first round of the playoffs every year. So it's like, I can't really complain because we're good enough that we get there, but it's really heartbreaking every single year because I'm like, let's get through the first round, guys. Nope.
Never. Not once. At least you're not the dumpster fire that is the Patriots right now. I don't know. Yeah. I mean, I don't know if it's worse to dwell in mediocrity or go from the top all the way to just the bottom and be there for the foreseeable future. We just know we're not going to be good for so long. And Brady's going to come in and fucking win a Super Bowl every year until he retires. And he's never going to retire.
No, he's so fucking good at football. It scares me.
Disgusting.
You had your time, though. I mean, you know what? At least you acknowledge that. and you don't dwell in mediocrity. You accept what's happened to you. That's a Colts fan right there. If you guys want to be Colts fans, you accept it. You accept it. But we're not here to talk sports. We're here to talk music. We're here to talk local singles. I like to start off every interview with the question, and I want to ask Chaz. You guys have been actually fucking on fire with the shows, killing it in New York, back in Boston, doing some stuff. What's been the best live event that you've DJ'd the past couple months, Chaz?
That's a tough one. I think the first rooftop party that we played was actually a lot of fun.
The Chris Lake cover set? Because that's pretty good.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, no, that was Zach. That was actually just Zach and our good buddy Charlie Ford.
Oh yeah.
The one after that, the first rooftop party I was involved with, I think. Okay. Kind of like to start the whole, like march into all the shows. It was just insane. It was so fun. Boiler,
how many people were there?
Kind of vibe, like people surrounding you. You have people in the crowd just like flicking shrooms at people. Like it was sick.
That is a fucking vibe. What about you, Zach? Same answer?
Yeah, I think that was the first one where we felt like people showed up to see us play. The other rooftop was really cool, and it was a funny story how it all came together because our friend has this really cool, that really cool rooftop from the pictures, and they had kind of been like, just show, come and bring some speakers, we'll throw you guys like $500 and just DJ, we're gonna have a cool party.
Yeah.
And so we kind of just showed up with no expectations. They actually asked us not to play house music before that. Like, can you play some Blink 182? And we were like, I don't know. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens. Put it on the USB. And it just kind of it started with 50 people there. And I told Chaz, I feel still to this day feel terrible about this because I told Chaz, don't come. It's gonna be some lame rooftop party. We're just gonna get a little exposure. Don't show up to it. And then videos started just shooting out in New York, and it spiraled into a thing where there were hundreds of people there, and we were just banging. I mean, we were banging melodic techno. We were playing a bunch of Chris Lake stuff. We were playing our own stuff kind of for the first time where people were eating it up because we had played it before, but it was in these bigger markets. Like we had been down in Miami where people were there for a headliner, and they were there for a very specific sound. So they liked it. But this was one of those ones where people were like, who are you guys? What are you doing here? And when can you come back? And it was kind of like real time. Oh my God, it's happening. It's happening. And then it ended up kind of going a little viral in New York. And we did some bookings live during the set. And that was a 10-hour set. It was 95 degrees, headphones melted on my neck. It was disgusting, but it was a hell of a time. But yeah, I think that second set that Chaz mentioned, the second Renegade party, because we went right to a penthouse that got swatted afterwards. It was kind of the same deal. Yeah, literally swatted. It was nuts.
What did they think you guys were doing?
I think they thought we were throwing a full-on illegal rave with a proper sound system. And there was a lot of people there, and they were really jumping. I think the other people in the apartments were freaked out, and they were just had no sense of, and it was just a bunch of harmless kids who were having fun listening to house music.
Yeah, there was one video clip of this one where we were playing "How's Your Evening So Far" by Chris Lake, and everybody in just full sync, just bobbing on the roof. I bet you neighbors weren't too happy about that.
Looked unbelievable, and that's just so cool to see, like you guys doing that and putting on your own thing. We talked about before we went live, just like, I don't know, if you build it, they will come. And it went viral in that night. And where was that? In Manhattan?
It was in Manhattan. Yeah, there's all private residences too, which is the crazy thing is we just brought in a sound system, like a full sound system from Guitar Center. We got a sub and a bunch of monitors, and we brought our own. We're off when we do those Renegade parties. We have really old. I think they're maybe CDJ 900s. They don't even have the waveform on them. So you're scratching in to find the start of the song, and it's just so stressful. But it's also the best. And then we got cut our teeth. We got really good at DJing over the course of those few weeks because we were doing 15-hour sets. Yeah, I don't want to say it's on vinyl, but it was damn hard to hear. Yeah, or, understand what we were doing, thrown into it. So it's all good.
Jesus, proud of you guys.
Little snaps.
I love seeing that so much. Just seeing my boys and my girls and everybody having fun again. It's not even like having success; it's having fun, seeing people smile. And it's pretty cool when that shit happens, right? Just like those little moments that you didn't expect. And it's what makes it all worth it.
It's the most rewarding part. It's why you do it. It's why you start doing it. It's also become something we've thought about a lot lately, is just the everything feels flat during the weeks now, because we've been hammering it for 6 weeks. We've been doing multiple, and we're, you go out to a pub or something and it's like, what do we
can't
really
enjoy
do?
a beer anymore, can you, Zach? Jesus.
Yeah, I've ruined life. I've ruined life for myself. But it is cool. It is cool to have people come up to you after the show or DM you and say thank you for the night. Yeah. It's like, well, you paid me for it. You don't need to thank me. But it's cool to give people something that's a memorable experience that they can relate to and that they want to come back to, for sure. Yeah,
absolutely. Amazing. And it's been quite a journey for you guys so far. And I want to get it all in today, guys, because we did a live stream when you guys released on Hood Politics, which was so much fun. And you guys came up during the Poolhaus interview. So I heard about you first then. And ever since then, it's just been like, you guys hustling. You guys are great guys too. It's just like funny to see you do your thing and DMing and just always feeling like I'm in touch with you. I really like that. And you guys are just genuine people. So I want to start off by saying, like, just keep being you.
Dude, we appreciate that. And we've told you this before too, but the support from you early on, from DJ Susan early on, there were a lot of times where we were close to just making this a casual thing or even stopping it before any of this started. And that was a big part of why we continue to do it and building our confidence and our self-belief. So we appreciate everything that you're doing as well. And Sherman the Booth is such a cool and unique platform for artists. Like more people should be doing this, but it's you.
I guess they're not. I was just talking to somebody about that. I'm like, where are the other podcasters interviewing DJs and producers out there? They're not there.
It's and which is weird too, because you would think the DJs sort of the world, they're outside of old rock stars from like the 70s, 80s. We're probably seeing the craziest things and doing some of the craziest things.
Yes.
All the best stories are from these DJs, and yet nobody wants to talk. It's weird. Yeah, it's a weird thing, but you corner the market. So
I cornered the fucking market.
Right. Yeah.
I did. And I absolutely love it. It's been the best friendship networking tool like ever. Just like actually having genuine conversations with people about their biggest passion, whether it be music, whether it be health and wellness, whether it be management, whether it be anything. That's just an enjoyable thing for me to do and share those stories with people. Because one of the reasons I started the podcast was I found it really, really hard to actually meet people in music. You go up to the DJs in the clubs, you guys know, you try and introduce yourself, you buy them a shot, say, hey, you have to do that, 10 times? Then I have to stay at the club until 5 a.m. until I can introduce myself on the way out. Fuck that shit. That's not who I am. Also, I have a day job, so I got to go to work.
Yeah.
So I was like, how do I actually spend time and get to know these people? Well, I really want to do a podcast. Why don't I make it an interview-based podcast? And now this is episode 171. So I've interviewed at least 160 different people. So it just has been a really special thing for me to feel it grow, rather than like it's seen it grow, of course, but I just feel like it's so awesome. It's a fulfilling thing. And I see you guys doing that in one way or another with production and DJing.
That's funny you mentioned that, because it's such a weird dynamic. We are so aggressive about, and it's people we're genuinely fans of. There's no one we've reached out to who were like, oh, well, we don't really like their music, but they're a big name, and if they listen to our demo, it'll be great. But it is a weird dynamic of introducing yourself to people who are bigger names. I mean, like, you should listen to my demo, but if you don't like it, I'm okay with it. And don't feel obligated to listen to it. But if you don't listen to it, I am going to be a little bit upset, but seriously, no pressure. Like it's just a weird gray area.
Put it in, take it back.
Yeah. And I'm a fan. Here's a shot. Can I come backstage? But I swear to God, I'm not a leech. I just want
to. Yeah, that's what we had to deal with.
Yeah, but it's like, I mean, it's just so cool what you've built and what the whole squad that you ride with has built. And I didn't know that that's how you had started the podcast. And huge congrats on 170. 170. I can't remember 170 of anything I've done at this point. You know, it's a lot. It's a high number. I don't know if I can count that high anymore after the last 6 weeks in New York.
No, I'm on my last brain cell right now. It actually was smaller. It's grown back right now. You know, the Red Bull always helps with things like that.
Regenerating a little bit, just like nuclear. You're like a Red Bull superhero. Like if you drink enough energy drinks and shit, like you.
Damn it! You figured me out.
Sherm's just pumping, your blood's pumping full of like energy drinks and house music. And then you just evaporate once you hit like 40. You just like Luke Skywalker fade into the sunset.
That's the plan. Yep. That's the plan. That's I'm going to get to 500 episodes and evaporate. And that's oh my God. Listen, we got to start at the beginning though, guys, because you guys are truly special people. And I want everybody to know, and I want to learn myself how you got to this point. So I know, Chaz, you've been producing for 11 years, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I know you guys are both from Boston. So I guess we'll start with Chaz. Like, tell me about growing up in Boston and when you started getting into music and maybe even your first exposure to electronic music too.
Yeah, that's a great question. I mean, I've played guitar all my life, you know, I took lessons growing up, you know, going to public school, Dover Sherburne with Zach. You know, it was. You
guys met each other in when? Is that elementary school? Middle school?
Probably was it preschool or elementary?
No, I think it was like first grade or second grade. I moved at some point.
Fucking best friends over here right now. I love it.
I mean,
so cool.
Like, we, you know, coming up in public school, there was always like battle of the bands. Like Zach and I participated, you know, enemy, I guess, but the love of music was always there. By the time I transferred from Dover Sherburne to Milton Academy, which is a private school just outside of Boston, is when kind of art became a little more prominent in my life. Mm-hmm. From there, I went to Bentley University. I played football at Bentley University for a year, and I ended up leaving because I wanted to pursue music. That's when my production started taking off a little bit. Mm-hmm. So that's how it kind of started. It was just, you know, I was in a place that I didn't really want to be, which was Bentley University. And, you know, it kind of pushed me into a direction of more, you know, getting into arts and music. So from there, you know, I started producing a lot of like future bass and like pop remixes, and then Zach eventually came back into my life and switched me over to Tech House, and now I'm
That's unbelievable. What do you remember? How old were you when you released your first track then, like out on SoundCloud or whatever?
I was in college. That must have been, it's probably like, Zach, what year were we as freshmen? Because you and I were in the same grade.
In high school or college?
College.
2015, fall of 2015.
2015. So yeah, that I dropped a remix of Blink 182, Semi Charms.
Heinous, by the way.
I worked with a music blog called Bugatunes, and they actually did a lot of help blowing that up. I got, you know, maybe 100,000, 150,000 plays.
Your first fucking release?
Yeah. It was because I think it was just because it was Semi-Charmed. It was just Blink 182. Everybody loves Blink 182.
Of course. No, I mean, that was the game, bro. People went on world tours off remixes on SoundCloud.
Yeah. So I think that was my first one. Yeah.
Amazing. And now you're on the dark side.
Absolutely. And I love it.
Yes, bro. Yes. And we'll get into your solo project too, but I want to hear, Zach, your first exposure into the electronic music world too and growing up.
Yeah, I mean, I'll lead with this because I just said heinous when Chaz was talking about his first track, which I want to clarify, which is the production is awesome, and at the time it was really awesome. I've been like a dungeon demon for years and years now on the dark side of it. So I was always and I mean, I wouldn't say I was a hater because I think I was always pretty supportive of the music and everything, but I was definitely like, but dude, what if you just were doing something that was not that.
Yeah.
And so that was, I mean, the first time I got into electronic music, man, I'm trying to think, because there was kind of two stages of it. And I think those are the two stages everybody goes through with it, which is there was like Skrillex and Kygo and Avicii and all those guys back in the day. And I remember listening to, I think the first song was, it was a Jack Wog remix of Starry Eyes by Ellie Goulding. I don't know if you remember that one from back in the day.
I do. Wow. Yeah. Unlocked, bro. I remember.
Banger. Yeah. There's a lot of kids out there who are going to hear this who have no idea what that song is. And and rightfully so, because dubstep is garbage. But that was the first time I was like, okay, I don't know what these noises are, but I like it. And then there was definitely a shift. And I actually can specifically remember this as well. I had transferred to Taft in Connecticut to play lacrosse down there.
Oh, yeah, baby. What position were you? You were a face-off, get-off guy, weren't you?
I was a defenseman. I used to be bulked up. I used to be jacked. Lost a lot of weight. Yeah.
Sticks, bro.
Dude, I was such a douche too. I was the worst. I was the worst ever. And I wasn't one of the guys who had finesse or was doing really technical things. I was just hurting people as much as I humanly could.
Cool.
Yes, which was sometimes I miss it. Maybe that's why I get so angry when we get like billed wrong or something. There's something repressed now. But
the Connecticut defenseman comes out.
Yeah, exactly. So, but it was I was getting exposed to these sort of trendy New York City kids for the first time that I'd never had access to in Boston. Boston's like, it's a drinking town. It's a rock music town or a country music town. So I remember it was White Noise by Disclosure. And what was that big first Chami song that still bangs to this day?
Missing You with AC Slater?
No, it was even before that. It was the Queen of Xander's one, I think. I'm forgetting. Also, it's I'm going to lose a lot of credibility that I can't remember the name of it. But I remember a kid found that. That was also my first exposure to someone who wouldn't give up the ID. He found the song and he would play it in the dorms, but he changed the name on the file on iTunes because it was even before SoundCloud was really a thing. We're like, what is that? What is that? And he was like, no, bro, I can't give it up. Like, this is my tune. And that was the first time I'm going to be at the risk of rambling. I'm actually going to backtrack this, which is we were in the city, and it was one of the first weekends we had been left alone with no parents in New York City. So we were, we had one of those mini kegs of Heineken and, like a 6-pack of Corona or something. We were
sick.
This is it. Like this is the peak. And it was when Pandora Radio was still a thing as well. That's how deep we're talking.
Oh yeah.
And Look Right Through by MK came on shuffle on Pandora Radio, and everyone at the party stopped when that song ended and looked around and was like, put that on again. And that was from there. It's just turned into a borderline obsession, like addiction to. There's nothing that's too niche for me now, which is a scary prospect because it's like, where does it stop? I'm just going to be listening to industrial techno exclusively, like kick drums in 2 years. I don't know.
Well, so when did you actually start DJing then? Which one of you was the DJ first then? Were you, Zach?
It was me. Well, again, this is one of those weird things where I think Chaz was doing it out before I was. It was a secret hobby of mine that I got made fun of by everyone I knew who knew I did it. It was like, oh, you DJ Ambro, your music sucks, bro. And I was
DJ Ambro, okay.
DJ Ambro. I mean, okay, that is by no means was ever a thing, but when people would make fun of me, oh, DJ Ambro, and I was like, dude, if you guys just let me do it, at a party or something, I'll be sweet. I swear to God. And I was like, nah, like we want music with words. We don't need this bullshit. It's also before house music was really blown up, like tech house blew up, but. Chaz was doing it, and I'll kick it over to you to talk about a little bit of your background DJing live and sort of the trials and tribulations of trying to DJ future house and trying to get through the Boston scene in particular, which is so rough.
Yeah. I mean, Boston was definitely really tough to get into it. I was working closely with a promoter here, and I was doing a lot of open format kind of DJing at big clubs in Boston, like Royale, Icon.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so I've played at a bunch of spots in Boston, but it was never rewarding because I never was able to play what I wanted to play. It was always like I was the DJ that had to take requests, and that's the most frustrating fucking thing that every DJ can go through. Like, you know, I'm up there and, you know, someone wants me to play like, you know, Alessia Cara or like some bullshit, and I'm like, fuck, like fine. You know, I did maybe like 15 or 20 shows in Boston, and then I just got off the train. I was like, this isn't worth it.
Yeah.
You know, focus on production instead. And then, you know, you're totally hoping for like this scenario to come up where production has been getting so good that, you know, we can DJ, and now we can DJ our own stuff, and we can play exactly what we want to play and have people enjoy it.
Right.
You know, instead of having people be like, you know, I don't know this song, it's fine. Like, you just got to play to the right crowd too.
Starting with you though, you were trying to make yourself happy first, which is the most important thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Love that. So you started as an open format DJ.
Pretty much, yeah.
Serato guy? Were you on sticks then, or what were you using?
No, I was ripping the computer in Serato for the first few, and then I discovered USB drives, and I was just like, okay, this is way better. And
I can't bring the laptop to the club, especially those drunk girls requesting Alessia Cara.
Yeah, fuck that.
The best thing I've heard too, which is funny because we've been doing these renegade parties, which we were talking about. I'm sure we'll get into again, but we brought CDJs to these rooftops. I remember one kid came up to me. He's also hammered. He's so shit faced, but he's like, so where does the music come from? You don't have a laptop. Where is it? Don't worry about it, bro. It comes from thin air. It's magic.
Yeah. Ridiculous. Yeah, people will come up and be like, so tell me what's going on here. And I'm like, not today. That's not happening. We're not going to do a walkthrough of music and how it passes through the mixer here. Not today. Just please keep going.
Yeah, just you're better off without the information. It's more of a mystery. It gives it more. There's more mystique. Don't worry about what I'm doing up here. Just go enjoy yourself.
Yes.
But it is. I got to tell you, it is infuriating. And that's how I know we're deep in the game now. Is anytime I see a computer, we look at each other and we're like, what a fucking joke this guy is. He could be the best fucking joke. He could be the best, like A-track. Like it could be A-track with a computer. And if I didn't know it was A-track and I was in the back of the club and I saw a computer open, I'd be like, look at this schmuck they brought in.
Wait, Chaz, what's your go-to line for denying a request though, whether it was back then or today?
Oh no, I always say I'll try to work it in. That's it.
That's nice of you. That's
because it's so avoidant too. Like I really wish I just had the balls to just be like, fuck off. But
yeah, same.
You know, like I'm a polite person. Like I'm just I'll try to work it in, like no promises though, and be like, okay, thank you, and they just walk away. So it's like, you know.
Oh, dude, I forgot about the request life a little bit, and I played this show at this like hotel rooftop, and it's kind of like a poppin' place. And we had all different types of people in there. We had 40-year-old birthday parties with women that were out in the city. We had bachelorette parties. We had people from the South Side that were requesting swag surfing and going fucking hard. We had 22-year-olds on their parents' credit card. And I'm like, and we had blackout dads. And I was like, this is going to be tough, but I'm going to fucking go for it. I'm a USB DJ too. People coming up. I was double-digit request night. So you know how that goes. Oh, and I'm exposed. You know, when you're exposed in a booth and people can surround you, and it's just like, I was elevated so they couldn't get next to me. I was playing like Bruno Mars, I play like a house remix because I gotta get through this. Somebody comes up in the middle of it, and it's pretty similar to the original. And they go, can you play the original song? And I'm like, I'm already halfway through the fucking song. I'm not going to play the original. I was really rude then. And I was like, look, I'm already through the halfway through the song. I'm not going to start it over. That's like rule number one. Another chick comes up to me. What did she say? I'm literally playing Dancing Queen by ABBA. Okay. 40-year-old woman's absolute dream. She goes, can you play something for my friend's 40th birthday? And I go, is that your friend right there? She's dancing and twirling around. And I'm like, is this request for her or for you? Let's just be honest right now. And I just forgot about the request life, dude. And we should do like a fucking tell all about this shit because
we could do an entire podcast about just the absurd requests that come in and people's entitlement to have. it kind of goes back to people not understanding where the music's coming from. It would almost be easier. Yeah.
Oh, dude, somebody requested like a random Kirko Bangs like off like, and I actually knew the song of like, Dat Piff 2007. This was maybe available. And that's why another reason I use USBs. I go, I only have what's on my USBs. And then they're like super confused good line by that. They're like, and then they say, can I connect my phone? Yeah, like let's Bluetooth it in.
Oh, sure. Yeah, let me plug your phone in. You know what? Why don't you take my paycheck while we're at it? Do you want to get paid to do this? I actually have some places I could be.
Oh, it's so funny. And then the managers always like think they got the mood. They're like, I think you should play a little more top 40, but then like pick up the pace, slow it down. I used to DJ 25 years ago, so I know what I'm doing. I'm like,
dude, that is so funny because I was sitting, I'll expose myself. I was sitting around thinking about stuff to talk about that would be funny or like interesting on this. I was on a run.
I like that.
And there was one character, it's almost a character who's in every club, which is the guy, and this is terrifying to me, by the way, the guy who is the resident. He's, he runs the sound setup and he sort of does opening sets to sound check. Yes. And he maybe goes 15 or 20 minutes too long as people start showing up. He's only playing his own edits of stuff. And he's telling you about all of the sick after parties that he used to run. The Paris Hilton. Oh, dude. Like all the guys from NSYNC would show up to these after parties I did in like the late 90s, early 2000s or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, you don't understand. It's like, dude, honestly, I really don't care.
Oh man, the glory days. And that's why I mentioned it earlier. It's like, whatever you're doing, you better have multiple options of shit, because a lot of people, they fizzle out and they get stuck at 40, 45, 50 years old as like an open format DJ. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but like, is that what you want to do? Probably not.
No, and that's also like getting locked in early on is like having DJing like be your primary source of income, and like picking up every single gig that you can get your hands on. Like that's again just like not the route we wanted to go on. So
no. And I'm glad you guys did it because
out of that immediately.
Yeah, for sure. I'm glad you guys didn't, because where you're at right now, it's pretty fucking impressive. I mean, 2021 was a huge year. You guys came out of the fucking woodworks too. Before we start talking about your releases, when did you guys decide to partner up? And I guess I'll tee Chaz up because you have your own project called Chaz, right? And you've released a lot of music, like you mentioned earlier. When did you guys decide, all right, let's do something together?
Well, I mean, Zach's a lot better at explaining the whole process behind it, but it was, I will say, I'm deep into, my production and what I've been doing. And I'll let Zach take it away on this because it's just much better at
his Adderall is peaking right now, so he's really gonna deliver.
Yeah, I've been selling software all day, so I'm still in sales mode. So I'll sell you on our origin story.
Let's see what we got.
Yeah, I mean, so it's funny too because we had a million different iterations, and this is kind of what Chaz is getting at with why I'm the one to tell it, because the way our workflow is set up is Chaz will send me a rough framework for a song, and then I'll send him a million ideas. Generally, I'll put the same 3 vocals. I'll put either Fergalicious. There's like a Gwen McCrae vocal that I want to put on absolutely everything, and I think it's like Fuji La. And every song, no matter what key it is, I'll just warp it. I'll just change the pitch to whatever that key is and be like, this is what we should do. But I'll do drum stuff and experiment with things and send it back to him. So I'm kind of just all I do is I function as the idea guy. Mm-hmm. And so we had a million different ideas for what this would be. The first one was we were going to call ourselves the Apollo Circle Rhythm Collective. I think and it was going to be a disco only project.
Okay.
It was only to make fun of how pretentious Motor City Drum Ensemble is and how pretentious that name is and the music that he plays. And he's awesome. I'm a huge fan of him, but just the way he's everything that people think a really hipster DJ is. Uh-huh. So, and there's so many guys I know who are kind of like wannabe disco edit DJs who worship Motor City Drum Ensemble because of that Boiler Room set.
Yeah.
So we're like, oh, this would be pretty funny if we only made disco bootlegs and we it's kind of a parody. And then the next idea, which is also funny because we don't play really any disco anymore. And
you were doing it to say fuck to that. Fuck you, that guy. That's very Boston of you. Yeah.
It was going to be an entire like multi-year bit dedicated to making fun of a guy who we like, by the way, who we're fans of. And then the next iteration of it was going to be I think it was called What If We're Wrong. And I think we'd been watching a lot of Solomon sets or something.
Mhm.
There was a Solomon edit of Personal Jesus that we were listening to a lot. We're like, we should just be Tulum guys and wear robes and hats and look like Damian Lazarus, forgetting that we have no taste. We like the pop music equivalent of that genre and nothing else. So that was an idea that we kicked around for a while. And we really formalized as local singles only because we had that Space Yacht tune get signed with Poolhaus, and we needed to come up with a name in a week. I think they were asking what our name was, and we said, okay, we got to come up with a name. What's the funniest thing we can think of? We're like, it is pretty funny. Is all there's like Craigslist ads that are always asking if you're in the area. We should call ourselves Local Singles. So it came together organically, but really the project wasn't serious until that release happened, and we didn't even know, which is crazy because we're East Coast guys. We didn't know what Space Yacht was. So I don't know what Space Yacht is. I'm sure they want to release a record, whatever. And then the label ended up being a huge, huge deal because Space Yacht's a huge deal. And we came into it totally blind, and we're like, we might have something. Like maybe we should keep doing this. And then it's just sort of gone from there. Yeah.
Amazing. Holy shit. You were on a timeline for a week and they were like, all right, what's your name? You're like, well, fuck yeah. Local Singles is such a good name. It really is. It's all encompassing too. Are you guys even single?
Funny story about that. We both, I think, ended up having serious relationship issues, partially because of the name. We are, for everyone out there who is watching, if you like what you're seeing in this square, yes, we are both single. Yes, we are available by DM. Yes, I'm looking for a tech house honey to roll around with me. But yeah, it's been interesting, like trying to get people on board, girlfriends on board with the name. I don't think both of us have been in a relationship the entire time the project has been active, but never at the same time.
Yeah. That happens with best friends sometimes.
Yeah.
That is so fucking awesome. Local Singles, baby. And you came out hot with that release too. Lose Control, Boiish, and Poolhaus. And I of course, I knew who Space Yacht was, and I've known who they were for a long time. And then when they did this label, I was like, this is it. Because like they've followed a similar path as like a Dirty Bird. And Dirty Bird started throwing parties, and then it became a label, and that shit fucking works, dude. And Space Yacht has a dedicated following. I mean, you know how it goes. They do secret lineups on fucking Tuesdays. Now they're doing tours all over the US, taking headliners like Eptic around, and they're on the up and up. And to see them release Tech My House, it was called, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep. The first issue of it. I think that was the first for house music.
First issue. Yep.
Yeah.
Super high quality track. And Boiish, very talented female duo, right?
Yeah.
So we had 6 people working on this fucking track, baby. No wonder it turned out so well.
Well, let's hear how well this one turned out. This one's called Lose Control by Local Singles and Poolhaus, featuring Boiish on Space Yacht.
Let's freak. Get loose control. Let's freak. Get loose.
Dude, Chaz, that's more your department because I stayed out of the mix on that one. I was so fresh to it. I was like, man, there's all these pros here. I'm not even going to touch. I don't even want to relay my ideas to anybody because they're
here to learn.
Yeah, exactly. And then I didn't learn anything, obviously, but
tell me how you guys know Poolhaus though, because that was from back in the day, right?
Yeah. I mean, we both have our own stories with them, which is pretty funny. I worked with Devin briefly with that music blog I mentioned earlier, Mugatunes, Mugatunes actually. And we both were producing kind of like that pop kind of future bass sound. And we actually did a remix together that was pretty popular. It was a track by that singer Max. yeah, so but then we kind of like drifted apart. I didn't, Devin and I didn't talk much, and then Zach has his story with Poolhaus.
Yeah, a bunch of my buddies went to Trinity and knew about Poolhaus, and they had put out Percolating and a few of those other sort of early edits which is fun. Actually, Percolating's a funny track because there's still people who post that track. They just download it and post it as their own song, and it gets like 200,000 plays every time someone posts it.
I had an ongoing thing of commenting on everybody's SoundCloud link that posted that track and just be like, this sounds familiar. Like, Devin, like, do you know this song? He'd be like, yeah. Like, we'd go back and forth in their comments. Just absolutely tooling on them. It's pretty funny.
Jesus, bro. Fucking copycats, man.
I know.
Ridiculous.
And I'm sneaky salty about it too, because I'm like, well, when are we gonna put out a song that's so sick someone's gonna do that? I'm a bit pissed we haven't yet. But yeah, we threw this big party, a fundraiser UVA called the Wheelbarrow Weekend, and we always booked a DJ. We were sort of scaling it up because we gained some traction around the fundraising part of it. So we thought, okay, well, if we book a sick DJ, more people will come. We'll raise more money.
Yep.
And I didn't know how to book a DJ, so I just called Poolhaus and had them come down. And it's funny because they actually have still a dedicated following of people from Virginia who, anytime we announce a lineup with them on it, hit us up. And they're like my boys. And they're like, oh, Poolhaus is going to be there. Poolhaus is going to be there. We'll be there too. Like, fuck you, dude. You've been my friend for 6 or 7 years, and you won't come to a show that I'm headlining, but you'll come to a show because Poolhaus is on it. But yeah, they left it. That was really when Tech House became they kind of put a Tech House imprint on the UVA scene from that show.
Awesome.
Yeah, and it's been very full circle to do shows with them after having been a guy who booked them and was a fan and was just drunk, like wobbling around in a show like, this is sick.
Yeah.
And now we get to work with them all the time, which is so cool.
It's amazing. Yeah. Shout out to them. I love those guys. And while we're at it, shout out to the Deep Root crew too, but it really is a fire track, guys. And I'm very impressed. It's one of those that goes on the USB. Honestly, you know how it goes. There are tracks that you share to your story. There are tracks you share to your friends. And there are tracks as a DJ, which is the highest honor. You immediately stop what you're doing. You go on a Beatport, you put that shit on record box, and you make sure it makes it on the USB. And I really like the flow and the vibe of that one too.
Dude, thank you. Yeah, it's a cool way to get our feet wet in the industry. And it's cool. It's cool to hear people just talk about playing anything we do out. It's still very surreal. So
I gotta start taking some videos for you guys. I play your guys' tracks frequently. This next one, I don't know why I didn't record it. I was a little hammered at the club, but Vibrancy, and shout out to our guy Cloverdale. You got a collab coming out with. We're gonna end on that, but love this label, love this guy. Lighters with FOVOS. Yeah, we're gonna check this one out right now. This one's called Lighters by Local Singles and FOVOS on Vibrancy.
All the way in the back, from the back, the sides to the front. If you have a lighter in your pocket, light it up, light it up. All the way in the back, from the back, the sides to the front. Bring the lights down, 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 down,
Super dope track, and it's heavy, dark, and it has this really good pace to it. Like I like tech house and house that like kind of has this like forward momentum, because sometimes it gets a little bit repetitive, right? When you get a little too simple, and I like minimal stuff here and there, but the rides, in my opinion, are what really made this track special, because it gives it that pace, and you use lots of different types of sounds. And I want to know where the inspiration came from. And I'm whoever you think could answer this best too, because it's a sick track.
Geez. I mean, that's a tough one, because, Zach, at this point, Zach was sending me tracks left and right. There was never a text like with words coming from Zach. It was all just SoundCloud and Spotify links for maybe like 5 or 6 days. And then I was just ripping through all of them. I don't think I can pinpoint an exact, inspiration track, but I will say that there was a lot of, I mean, anything like on Night Bass, I feel like it's more of like a bass housey kind of track. So I mean, bass house, I mean, Night Bass, you know, even like Box of Cats too was releasing a lot of kind of heavy stuff like that. I was listening to a lot. Zach, what would you say?
I was gonna say it was probably better for you back then when I just sent you links. You didn't get my color. I didn't feel empowered to give you color commentary on what I liked about the songs. Yeah, I just sent you songs that were good. It was an interesting one too, because that came, and shout out to Truth and Lies for the demo stream, because that's how we learned a lot through those guys, and they've been great mentors to us. And we still talk to them all the time. A little bit, you know, I don't want to say on a peer level, because they're still doing their thing, and they're just crushing every track that comes out, every show they do just looks like it's next level. But we met FOVOS in there, and we thought FOVOS had just put out an edit on, is it Blank or Blanc? I've never said it out loud.
Blanc. I think it's
Blanc.
Yeah,
it's cooler. It's definitely cooler that way. Actually, that was another name, was Mount Blanc, because like we wanted to rip off.
No, we were Point Blanc.
Point Blanc. Yeah.
Yeah.
We were like, how do we name a house group? We're like, well, I don't know. Poolhaus just changed the spelling on the end of their name, so let's just do that with Point Blank and make it Point Blanc. That was a 2-day name, but we met them. We thought they were fully super famous, and they've grown their following a lot. But we DM'd them. We're like, hey, do you guys want to collab? And they said yes. And so we just sort of ended up shooting ideas back and forth. And this was actually an opening edit that Chaz had put together, just sort of a set opener, because we also didn't understand, we'd never played a live show at that point. So we didn't understand that when you're not a headlining DJ, you don't get to shut down the club for 5 minutes and play something ominous as you come onto stage and say, every show we do, we'll get a smoke show. We'll come up on stage, everyone will cheer.
9 to 10 set times, like chill, guys.
So we had done a really ominous, cool set opener, and we sent them just our whips, and they picked that out. And we almost said no to it, because we're like, well, we need that as our opener. We can't give that away.
Yeah.
And thank God we did, because it's on SoundCloud is still our highest streaming track that we've done.
Yeah.
Which is really cool. And yeah, Clove has been so great also. So it was a good way to meet him. It's how we met Susan, and ultimately how we ended up meeting you. So that was arguably the most important track we've done, for sure.
There you go. One connection leads to another, boys. That's what it's all about.
There it is.
Great track. But what about this Dominique Proud of You remix? You guys totally fucking flipped the script and showcased your range. And the 6 a.m. remix you put on there too. I was like, I hadn't heard this one from you guys, and I was so taken back, because I love that vibe so much, like that 6 a.m. shit and the colorful piano. And again, showcase your range though. How did this one come about? And I don't know who Dominique is, so tell me about that whole story.
Zach, you got it.
Money, baby. No, we were looking. It was an opportunity that came to us. They were looking for a remix on that track. It came to us through our management, Tom Ashley Williams and LaFaire Musical, and we had been, which we do with everybody, just sending them music for months and months and saying, sign us.
Yeah.
And they said, here's a remix opportunity. What do you think you can do with this? And we didn't know anything about it. We just got the vocal stems. Dominique's super talented, and she's been on some really big house tracks since we did that remix, and does great originals, and was really cool to work with. And it's interesting doing remixes for people, because you have people that are the best people to do remixes for are the people who are like, take it, do whatever you want with it. I don't care what the end product is. I like your art, do your art. And then you have other people who get the remix back and like, well, this wasn't what I was expecting. So no. And she was super cool about the whole thing. Really, really, really gave us a ton of creative license to do what we wanted. But we took that opportunity more than anything else, because we saw it as a test from the LaFaire guys, which is, well, how fast can we turn around remixes? How fast can we turn around 2 remixes?
Yeah.
And how good are they going to be? I bet if we do a really good job on this, we'll get signed. And again, sort of the same thing, which is they ended up streaming pretty well on Spotify. Really different for us. We wanted to experiment and showcase our range, which I railed against, by the way, and thank God we did it, because was like, Chaz, we should turn this into a techno track, dude. We need the street cred. We need the street cred.
We need the street cred.
Yeah.
Sending me a ton of these techno tracks, or even just like MK dubs, where it's just like 3 seconds of the vocal repeated over the whole track, and then a big fat drop.
Another thing I do frequently that he despises, every time we do a song, I take the vocal and I loop like 2 syllables from it for 6 minutes. Don't put in anything except a 909 ride and a really, really tonal kick, a really fat tonal kick, and don't even do a bass line. Just do the Will Clark like subby tail, like reverse tail thing. And then it'll just all be driven by vocal chops and cymbals.
Jesus. That's intense, bro.
Eventually. It'll happen eventually. I'll have to cave in at some point.
Yeah. He's pressuring you too.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
We'll get it done one day. And then we'll send it to MK and we'll just be like, dude, you don't understand. You have to play this. And we'll DM him 1,000 times until he responds. Yeah.
Oh yeah, for sure. He'll say yes. Don't worry about that. He'll eventually answer. Amazing. So like I said, we talked about your guys' release on the Hood Politics live stream, but I want to talk about it again because DJ Susan was probably tweaking out on Adderall, and he goes from one topic to the next, and I'm like, Susan, these are really good tracks. I want to ask them how they fucking made it. But before we talk about the tracks, what you guys did talk about on the live stream with him was incessantly following up, and you guys have been big fans of Hood Politics for a while. I mean, that's at least what you said, and I really respected that. And you've mentioned it a few times though. What was the process like of getting signed on Hood Politics?
I'll start, Chaz. I guess I'll start with the approach, and then you can talk about how we wrote the song, because they're pretty distinct and both pretty cool stories.
Yeah.
DJ Susan, it was right after we became really big fans of DJ Susan after that Glasgow Underground release that he did. We had heard his stuff and followed Hood Politics for a while, but DJ Susan, we weren't looking at people as DJs or like labels as labels. We just knew the Hood Politics art, and we knew we downloaded all their free downloads, and we really liked a lot of their releases.
Right.
And we knew DJ Susan was putting out heaters.
Right.
But quite frankly, I thought DJ Susan, when he did that Glasgow Underground release, was actually a woman named DJ Susan. And I was really intimidated to talk to DJ Susan, because I was like, damn, dude, this chick is pumping the sickest, most aggressive tech house bangers. Like, I don't even know how I'm going to interact with this chick, because she's going to be so hardcore. And so Poolhaus had been like, oh, DJ Susan's down in Tulum. And I was like, I can't, this chick's probably just the coolest chick on earth. Like, there's no possible way. But so we got linked up via Vibrancy, and we sort of just meshed on vibe instantly in the group chats and in the streams. So we hit him up, and he's like, we got to get a song out on Hood Poly. And for people who know DJ Susan, they know when DJ Susan says something like that, it'll happen, but it'll happen like in a year. Because he's just building his empire. He's focused on his build, which is awesome, but he just got a lot going on. And I think it's the same of anyone in the industry. Like, everyone's got so much going on. So we just DM'd him raw, like maybe 50 times. And every single time he's like, this is a sick track, big one, boys. I'm like, okay, are you going to sign it? And so we started checking the stats on it, and we saw that he wasn't listening. He wasn't listening to it. And he was just being really a really cool guy, because he liked us as people and just encouraging us to keep going, but he wasn't listening to it. So finally we were like, okay, we need to make this so tailored for Hood Poly that he can't. And we just, day after day, listen, this is for you. We wrote this for you. And that's what finally got him to listen. And I mean, Chaz, you can talk about the production of it and how you tailored it to the Hood Poly sound and all that. But yeah, I mean, I think that just goes to show if you're out there, you're listening to this, you're thinking about getting something signed to a label. People really, really respect when you put in the time and effort to make something for them, or that was inspired by the art that they're doing, and don't just spam people. Don't go out and spam record labels with really generic stuff that you could send to almost anybody. Write stuff with a sound in mind, and write it for someone. And it's a little bit, you're putting yourself out there more, because if they don't like it, you're like, oh man, fuck, like that sucks. I wrote that for them and they didn't like it. What's all my other music gonna be like that I don't write for somebody? But it does go a long way and people appreciate it, especially someone like DJ Susan who, he's doing something very, very specific in the sense that he's got his crowd, he's got his sound, and those people ride and die for him. And he's not going to do something that he doesn't stand by. So you can send him a great track, but if he wouldn't play it out, it's not getting signed. And sure, you know that. You just signed a track with them.
Yeah, man. He said that's his thing. Make me a track for Hood Poly. Don't just send me some of your whips that you think are good, thinking that this is going to be the fit. It's got to be made in mind. And that's the whole point of a label. I think a lot of labels will just sign anything if it's a certain level or if it's a slap house or whatever trend is going on right now. And that's what lasts as a label too. So I love that story. Thanks for sharing that. What about the actual production? Because dude, Raw and Shoe Booter, like first off, Shoe Booter, what a great name for a fucking drum.
All right, we're going to listen to this one real quick before they explain the meaning. This one's called Shoe Booter by Local Singles on Hood Politics Records.
I know you can feel me right now, so stand on your motherfucking tippy toes. You can feel me in your arms, and your legs, and your motherfucking teeth. I want you to groove with me. Just feel me. Just vibe with me, goddammit.
We've had so many people just ask us, even our manager is just like, what is a shoe booter? What is this? And I didn't even know until Zach told me. And it's, I mean, Zach, if you want to tell them what it is.
I'll hit it briefly because I'm going on and on. But yeah, shoe booter is just a term a couple of close friends of ours used to describe I think everyone's seen it. If you've ever been to a rave, there's a song that comes on that's just so heavy, people start throwing up for whatever reason, like for whether they're too drunk or the mosh pit's going too hard or they're on a little plus and it's just hitting differently.
Yeah.
You start seeing people throw up in the crowd and we're like, well, how can we take the essence of that and just synthesize it into a song?
Yeah.
Like, what's all the biggest sounds we can find? And Chaz killed himself for 2 days screaming that vocal. There's no distortion on it. It's just because his voice is so worn out and he's screaming so loud into the mic. It's naturally distorted. So no big ups to Chaz. Yep.
I was back home at the time and I was just screaming at the top of my lungs. Can you feel me? Like so much. And it was just over and over and over again to the point where I was done and I was like, I couldn't talk. Like I actually couldn't talk. And it was a fun process though. I mean, it was cool, but would I do it again? Would I like scream that much? Probably not. But
I'd love to see a candy clip of that.
Oh, maybe. I didn't take any videos, but I'll do it just for you.
Yeah.
But with Raw, we were just, Zach and I were talking back and forth. We were just like, all right, so Hood Poly has a specific sound where every single track is an absolute banger. Club play, like gets the people going.
Yep.
How much absurdity can we just put into one track? And I came across, I was doing a little bit of like synthesis and sound design and that blow-up thing, like the big, the big, like that thing came across my plate and I was just like, all right, that's gotta be in there. It's gotta be in there. And then Zach sent me the raga style vocals and
I love those.
From that point on, it turned into an absolute bang show.
Bro, that's also a quick anecdote. We threw these things called techno bangers. We call them techno bangers in middle school. And it was just mashups. As a mashups party, we go in someone's basement.
Nice.
It was one of those weird sort of like not prepubescent things, but it's sort of like everyone was just finding out that they liked, chicks or liked dudes. So everyone would go in this basement and turn all the lights off. We listen to EDM mashups and like everyone make out with each other. It's one of those like sort of spin the bottle parties, this weird, uncomfortable preteen or early teen things.
Yeah.
And so me and my buddy, our good buddy Dylan, we're like, well, we got to call it. We need a DJ name. And our first DJ name ever was Sweatyriddimz, which is my personal SoundCloud URL is soundcloud.com/Sweatyriddimz, which is the name of the EP and sort of where we're like, we gotta do a quick ode to the techno bangers because it's just too juicy not to.
No fucking B-sides on Hood Poly, guys. That's rule number 2.
Never.
Unbelievable. The whole thing about it, you like, when we did that live stream, I could like feel your guys' energy, like how excited you were. And I just like lived off that for 2 weeks. And then when the tracks dropped, I was like, God, these are fucking good.
Just grunting.
Dude, and you're right. Like every track on Hood Poly is like a peak hour bang bang nut clapper, whatever you want to fucking call it, baby. It gets the people moving. Both of those tracks. Those are my favorite track. I think honestly Raw is my favorite track from you guys.
Oh, we appreciate it, dude. I think that's our most consistently rinsed release thing, song that's out too. We play that so consistently. People love it. Like, people love like a Jamaican guy screaming into the mic. There's no situation where that's missing. You can drop that anywhere. People are like, yeah, that's sick.
Chaz, is it weird when you play that out and you hear your voice like that loud?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, it just brings me back to just screaming into a microphone and trying to pretend to be like a really shitty preacher, like.
Dude, it's pretty sick.
Yeah, we're thinking if I ever develop the courage for it to do it live.
Yeah.
But that might be a little down the road. I gotta get my confidence up.
Okay, we'll work on that.
Yeah.
But you guys get the ball rolling with In Rotation, and I've interviewed so many people that have released on In Rotation, and it is such a fucking special label. It's obviously a below Insomniac, but it's kind of like their house arm of the label, but it's not like normal house. Like it's left field. They've had side piece release on there. My boy Trey Mortimer released on their Belmont Boys, and it's like really unique type of house. And your guys' track Mirrors, I mean, it was a big stamp of approval to be on that label and to be on that VA as well. And it just has a little bit of everything in this track too. And again, showcase your range. How did it feel, before we even talk about the track, to actually release on In Rotation, knowing the credibility?
Let's check this one out real quick before we discuss it. This one's called Mirrors by Local Singles off In Rotation.
Dude, it was a big moment. That was one of those ones where we signed it. And that's actually the first of 3 tracks dropping on In Rotation. So we have a Waterfall EP coming out over the next couple of months. We have a collab with Sodaf, which we're really excited about. Yeah, there's another one of those DJs that we were just huge fans of, and we just incessantly messaged them until they agreed to collab, probably to shut us up. But that was when we had signed that EP and VA, and then the Box of Cats EP we have coming out in October in the same, I want to say it was the same day or the same 48 hours. And we're like, okay, we're here. We can do this. And In Rotation was just one that we had watched you watch everyone who is a big name who we were fans of had done an In Rotation release within the last year. And we left this one on the demo playlist by accident. And actually, Chaz, if you want to talk about, you should talk about the piece of it, the back and forth conflict about this track, because there was quite a bit of it. We left it on the demo playlist by accident, and they picked it up sort of as a surprise. So we were so thrilled that they took it, because we had no expectation that it was going to get signed by anybody.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, the whole thing was just like Zach, in the simplest way to put it is like Zach hated it and I liked it. There was like a few things in there that Zach wasn't a fan of, and I was like, but it's kind of necessary, blah, blah, blah. We just went back and forth. It was probably for like a good 3 weeks of just bouncing back and forth between the track.
Yeah.
And finally, was on the demo playlist, got picked up, and I felt a little good after it getting picked up. I was like, see, Zach, fuck you.
And there's been stuff that's the flip side. I think that's what's cool about being a duo, is we both have sort of different tastes, and that's just something I've come around to it since then. It's obviously if In Rotation says the track's good, there's no dispute about it.
Yes.
But I just, that style of music, that sort of bass house style, I'm just not as deep into in my own curation. It's not something I'm listening to as actively. So I don't know what's cool in that genre right now. And he sent that to me, and I was like, dude, I don't know. There's just like, it's kind of a weird one. I don't know if that really tracks with the other music we're making or whatever. He's like, no, trust me, this track's good. And then Truth and Lies said the same thing. We sent it to them. They're like, that is one that you should send out immediately to everybody. And I was like, the fuck, dude? Does no one know what they're talking about? Am I the only guy in this industry who knows what good music is? And then In Rotation signed it too. I was like, all right, everyone who's listening to this track except for me loves it. And yeah, since then I've come around to it, obviously, and just, it's a really cool, really unique track, which I think it's always good to have a couple of those out there that are just super, super different. And like you said, it's kind of like a left field kind of, I mean, yeah, we were Big Night Live a couple of weeks ago, and Jay Wara played it. We were on stage with her, and we were like, "Whoa, that is crazy!" Jay Wara for us is like, that's the ultimate validation.
She played 2 of your tracks then.
Yeah.
2. That was a cool night.
Day Trip too. She played Mirrors at Day Trip, and that was pretty.
Oh yeah. You shared that video.
The fucking massive crowd of people, and like our tune is being rinsed to like thousands of people. Like, that's insane. It blows my mind every day.
It's awesome, guys. Keep riding that fucking energy. And I mean, she played, by the time this episode is out, your new track, I'll Provide, with Cloverdale. We got a full circle moment on Noizu's label, Techne, right? And I honestly, I've been staying patient. I wanted to ask for the full version, but I'm gonna buy and support this motherfucker. And I listened to it on Cloverdale's story. Finally, I got a high quality version. And I was like, okay, I get it. This track is sick. Gotta know about this one, guys. When did you actually finish it with Cloverdale?
We got to check this one out because it's such a dope track. This one's called Ill Provide by Local Singles in Cloverdale off Techne Records.
I don't even know.
Yeah,
a while ago,
a few months ago. I'd say it was
a few months ago.
Yeah. It was funny. We like actually haven't had the actual like the final master for the track for the last couple months. We've been rinsing the tune for our shows. We've been playing like my shitty self master, and
Your self masters aren't shitty, dude. They're just the loudest self masters in the entire world.
So loud.
They're so goddamn loud. If you look at and it was funny because we were like, oh, should we like maybe make them a little less loud? And we looked at mixes like Poolhaus put it in a mix, or one of our IDs in a mix, and it was like kind of like the SoundCloud wave, and then it was our song, and then it went. That's how we'll know when people are rinsing our stuff. Is it just the so sick.
Jesus. So, but you guys got the proper intro with when you released on Vibrancy, or were you hustling Clovey just like you did everybody else too, trying to develop a relationship?
He was a guy that we were using, I should say using, but we saw him more as a mentor. Like the feedback we were getting from him was less, oh, let's collab on this. And we were using him as a resource who was clearly a guy who wanted to help the scene grow, because he's running a label that really specializes in emerging artists or people who, aren't necessarily on a lot of bigger labels. So we knew he was a guy that wanted he's the best guy. He's the best guy in the world.
Yeah.
But yeah, we just sent him some whips and we're like, oh, can we get feedback on these? Because we're going to send them out. Maybe we do another release on Vibrancy. We're thinking about shopping to some other labels. Can you just help guide us? Because you've been on Confession, you've been on Inro, and he came back to us as kind of a surprise and said, "This is really, really dope. I think there's a few things I can adjust in here. Let's make it a collab."
Wow.
And that was that. Yeah.
Damn.
It does stem back to Truth and Lies too, because he was a guest host on one of their episodes that we submitted to, and he heard one of our tracks and was like, that's pretty good. Let's talk. So,
that's awesome.
Shout out Truth and Lies again for.
They invented us basically. We're just a Truth and Lies subsidiary.
They invented you. Those guys are good guys, man. Incredible. And I gotta mention 2 tracks though. And I found them. Your SoundCloud edits, Work It and Shake Your Booty. You guys contributing back to the SoundCloud economy. Thank you on behalf of DJs. We appreciate that shit. And I clicked on more and I was like, are these guys that good of guys that I can download directly and I don't have to go through the fucking gates? Yes, you are.
Wow, I think you're the first one that's like.
Oh no.
Say
it again. Say it again.
Crap. All right. I said you're probably one of the first people that appreciates the free download directly from SoundCloud instead of all the gates and stuff, because we've always talked about like we got to set that up, like we got to get gates going, we got have people follow our accounts so that they can listen to our music, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, if you appreciate it, then we're not probably going to do it.
I mean, that stuff matters, but I'm gonna play your track. Like you made it easy for me to get that shit.
Yeah, here's the thing too, which is going to be a little bit of a secret moving forward. We did gain a track and no one listened to it, and we gained no followers. So it was just, it was a weird one. It's private now. We took it off SoundCloud. It was a miss. I'll air us out. It was one of those ones that we were like, this is either really weird or really, really dope. And we're going to find out. And it was really weird. We gained like maybe 5 followers from it. We're like, why the fuck did we do this? We just gated this and now no one's downloading it. No one's listening to it. No one's supporting it. So I think anything moving forward will just rely on the organic follows. And you know what? If you're listening to our stuff, just throw us a follow because it matters. It's like we get paid on people decide how much money to pay us based on our follower count, which you may not know if you're not in the industry. If you are supporting artists, follow them on SoundCloud, follow them on Spotify, follow them on Instagram. Mute them. It doesn't even matter. I don't care if you're visiting my page. I don't care about how often you're interacting with me. But just if you like what we're doing and you show up to shows, you listen to our music, just throw the follow to us and to any other artist, because that is talent buyers look at that. And it's the difference between making not enough money to cover your expenses to get to the show and being able to do it comfortably and be around. And just, it's a crazy, weird gate that this industry creates where there are guys who are so incredible, but they don't have high follower counts and you don't see them at shows and you can't enjoy their music live. And that sucks, but it's the reality.
It's true. I know. And I wish people were a little more open-minded to support. And I think I talk about this all the time. It's so important these days too, that you spread the word to your friends through word of mouth. I think we can all agree that the oversaturation of ads on social media and of course all the things that happened during the elections over the years with Facebook, people don't really believe what they see on the internet. There was a time where we found out that Wikipedia wasn't all factual. And I was like, really? Because I write all my papers based on the fact that it's Wikipedia information, right? And now people trust word of mouth more than they ever did. It's like the fucking 40s again, man. Like I'm reading the newspaper thinking, okay, this is real print media. And that's what people got to do. Like say, hey, these are my friend. This is my friend. Let's go to this show. Follow them. You got to follow them. I'm doing that for fucking all of the Hood Politics releases every time. I'm like, go follow this person. They're doing cool stuff. Like they're giving you their all. And it sucks that shit matters, like the follow count. But, and it even sucks even more that shit can be bought too, you know, but we all know when that shit happens, when it's not the real engagement. And you guys, that's why I'm like, I've seen you guys actually, I think when you released on Hood Politics, you maybe had like 300 followers on Instagram and now you're up to like 750 and 8. And I see like thousands of views on your guys' videos and all these awesome comments. And I'm like, these are real fucking local singles fans. And that's cool. That's really cool. And like, I've worked for a long time to build my following, and I just did a free giveaway for a festival I'm playing, and 122 people commented to win, and it was like the best engagement I've ever had. And I'm like, they're real. They're fucking real people out there, baby. Hell yeah. So I know what you mean, and I hope that resonates with people. Like a little bit goes a long way, even if it's just a follow.
Mm-hmm. And it's interesting you say that too, because you do see that. I think you see that in crowds of shows. It was something we discussed before. There's headliners who have a ton of followers.
Yep. And
they come in, they get brought into cities to headline shows. And the fact of the matter is there's no one who's there to see those headliners. They're all there. They maybe have 20,000 followers, but they have 100 fans. And there's lower level artists or artists without the follower count that have hundreds, thousands, tens of thousands of fans who will come out to see them every single time they play. Even if they're playing twice a week in a city. We're seeing people who are showing up week after week. Yeah, we don't have, the flashy Instagram stats. But if you want to sell out a show, you call up the people that, the Hood Politics guys, the Sherms. You are a Hood Politics guy, so I guess we'll catch you.
Yeah, baby, I got the shirt on.
Let's go. We'll specify that we're on your show. So it's the Sherm guys, and then it's the Hood Politics guys, not the other way around.
Hell yeah.
But those are the guys that really are the backbone of the industry. And it's cool. Yeah, it's cool to be a headliner. And when we're headliners, I'm sure we'll say, fuck everybody. We're headliners. Yeah. We don't need anyone else. But, it's the backbone of the industry. And that's where the real fan engagement comes from and where the rowdiest crowds come from.
Yeah, totally agree. No, I totally agree. You just got to be yourself, man. Unapologetically yourself. When I started doing that and not worrying about being what I thought a cool DJ had to be, and you start meeting some of those people and like, they're kind of lonely people sometimes, man. You know what I mean? Like you got a blue check mark and 50,000 followers, but like, are you happy who you hanging out with? Like when you come back home to your city, like, does anybody give a fuck? A lot of times, no. And that sucks.
We got told, I'm not going to say who it was, but we had a security team come around and tell us we weren't allowed to make eye contact with one of the bigger name. Yeah. Which is crazy. That was a crazy moment. That's when we're like, whoa, this is serious. And it wasn't even so much like, oh, fuck this guy for this policy. It was like, wow, this game gets really serious when you get to a different level. And that just must be a crazy, crazy thing to be so isolated from everybody. We thrive off the energy so much. To be isolated from everyone like that to the point where you can't make eye contact with your fans is really a crazy concept.
It's true. It does get to a weird level. And my goal, I think, everybody's goal in music is similar, just to be big and have fans and love what you're doing. And what my goal has started to become is like just making genuine friendships and connections like we're doing here right now. Like I want to be at the backstage of the festival, like so excited to see all of my friends that I've had on the podcast or I've connected with over the years and like hang out with them. Cause like I said, like that's fulfilling to me. I enjoy that. And when I'm happy, people can get on that fucking bus. You know what I mean? A lot of people wear their heart on their sleeve, whether it be for better or for worse. And that's what I've started shooting towards. And that's how life's supposed to. I'm having the most fun I've ever had, boys. Life's good.
Hell yeah. Let's go. Cheers to that, Sherm. I love to hear that. That's why we love you.
There we go.
A little water. Yeah.
Bunch of water.
850 on a Tuesday.
We're just still hungover from the weekend, actually, people.
Oh boy. Dude, we did our first we haven't ever done a show in Boston. That's not true. I mean, we've done stuff in Boston, but we came back finally for the first time.
Yeah.
Properly with the Friday Beers guys, who have been huge. Really cool. And they were
from
also
Boston?
No, I went to high school with one of them that I'm good friends with. I've been going to their wedding in the fall. The oldest brother and the middle brother is a good buddy of mine as well. And we did our first proper Boston play. So you can imagine it got hectic.
Yeah. Boat party, you said?
Boat party, 800 people, sold out, not on our power, on their power, but hell, it's a sold out crowd and it's a rowdy crowd. So who cares, right? Like, it was sick. And it was
like house music.
They were dubious, dude. Because the Friday Beers thing, the press play thing is a lot of sort of nostalgia, a lot of sort of EDM mashups, some of the stuff that when you were, it's a callback to when you were, you know, in college or in high school and you were sort of getting rowdy for the first time and all those really euphoric, they're updated, you know, they have a current, I was actually really impressed with, which is crazy for me to say because I hate EDM. I despise anything that is in a major key can just go fuck itself. But I was actually really, they had a really current sound for how nostalgic it was intended to be. And the crowd was really dubious. We opened with an unreleased edit that Biscuits passed to us. And everyone was kind of like, what the fuck is this? Cause it's a heavy tune.
Yeah.
And it took, you know, it was 5-10 minutes. We had been rained out. So they moved all the lights inside. The lights weren't quite on yet. The speaker system, I think, got unplugged for a minute, like 5 minutes into the set. The sound guy came around and stepped on the cord by accident. It's like, oh my God, we're back to the Renegade. Which, by the way, you get really good at if you do enough Renegade parties. Anytime that happens, and also it's good because if you fuck up and you're too drunk or something at 3 a.m. after doing a 10-hour set, the trick is you just find the first girl in the crowd who looks like she's maybe a little bit like doe-eyed and doesn't really know. Maybe she's a little disoriented. Yeah. And you just point at her and you're like, what did you do? What did you do?
Savage.
There was a guy who won one of our first Renegades. I forget what happened. I don't know if the CDJ broke or it was someone screwed something up or left a filter on or something. Something funky happened and we did that. We were just like, what did you do? And everyone was like, oh, and it gave us time to do, fix whatever was happening. But yeah, it was cool. It was cool to be back. It was a proper crowd and they got on board with Tech House about 15 minutes in. And then from there we were cruising. You got to educate people. People don't know what's going on. And a lot of stuff that's mainstream to us is totally unknown or stuff people haven't ever heard of or crazy things. So true. It was cool.
It's our job to expose them. That was actually my next question is like, where do you think house music is at right now and branch in tech house and all that sort of stuff? And where do you think it's going to be in the next 5 years? And I guess maybe Chaz, you want to answer it from a production standpoint and then maybe from like an actual cultural standpoint. And then we'll see what Zach thinks too.
Yeah. I mean, I will say that experimentation is really popular right now. There's so many sounds that are being played and people producing that have just, they've never been heard before. And, I really hope that keeps happening and not a lot of people get lumped into the same sound all the time and, using the same samples all the time. Progression and trying new things is the only way like you can grow and you can, like start new trends or, find people that like the same things as you. How are they going to know that if you're not using that sound design or that cool little sample you found on Splice that nobody else knows about? And, I think that as long as that keeps happening, like we'll all be in a good spot in the next like 5 years where we're finding new things to like and finding new things to do.
Yeah, for sure. It's so cool to see again, it's our job, especially even sometimes when I play maybe more of an open format gig here and there, I will throw in some house with maybe a mashup vocal over it. Right. And you kind of trick people into it. And they're like, oh yeah, like this actually isn't bad. And I'm like, yeah, this is house music. Like it's okay to dance.
Exactly.
Yeah, for sure. What do you think, Zach?
It's interesting. Because I'm really, really big into the history of, and I'm not one of the guys who can just reel off, everyone from the 90s, all the big songs from the 90s that started it. I mean, I love all the old Josh Wink stuff. Nice. But that's because of Chris, right? That's because of Chris Lake. It's not really because I love Josh Wink. It's because Chris Lake did an edit of Josh Wink, and that's how I found all that stuff.
Yeah.
But the first of all, progressive is back in a big way. Progressive house, borderline trance. we've been mixing in we've been dropping some old like Steve Angelo stuff.
Yeah.
And even some old Borderline big room stuff that just has those big kind of like, I don't want to call them Fisher leads, but I will, just because everyone knows what that means.
Yeah.
Those like big saw waves, those really big drops. It's weird because I think it's kind of going in two directions, which is a lot of the stuff from the early 2000s and late 90s is coming back. That really the 90s house is really big. We actually had a musical director of a hotel tell us that 90s house is all they want played. And we're like, well, that's a mistake, but okay. So again, going back to, okay, yo, you should just DJ that. You do it.
Yeah,
exactly. So you know what people want.
Exactly.
But 90s house is really big. Again, I think progressive house with a big room leaning sound is kind of circling back. Not true EDM, not true big room, but like vintage culture is dropping. I went to a vintage culture set the other night. He dropped almost only progressive house for like 2 hours. It was very, very minimal amounts of true tech house and almost all stuff that was Swedish guys from 2003, that kind of stuff.
I love that. Yeah.
But then the other way it's trending is like the minimal stuff. I mean, I could go on about this for so long. So this is a dangerous question to ask me.
Yeah.
But
I understand.
The minimal stuff that's almost nothing except a hi-hat, a couple different hi-hats and a kick and a bass line and a really, really sweet vocal sample.
Mm-hmm.
That's like Black Book. The stuff Black Book is dropping right now is borderline minimal house, which is crazy, right? So it's, I guess the short of it is that a lot of the sort of historically big house music genres that are typical and that everyone knows and loves are starting to come back in one shape or another. And then there's also these experimental offshoots that are really gaining traction in places like the UK.
Yeah.
LA has its own sound now. I think we're going to see a lot of subgenres emerge by region in the States. Even like Miami has its own sound now.
Yeah.
The pandemic just created a Miami sound, which is a Tulum sound, but no one in Miami knows that.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I just gave you a non-answer, but like there's a lot of different, basically a lot of sweet stuff.
I agree. And I think it has to do a lot with our generation that you mentioned the Avicii, the Hardwell era, right? Like that got us into it. And you can only go so hard to that shit for so long, but you still love the music. You still want to go to events. And you can go to a 3, 4, 5 hour house set that's vintage culture. That's Chris Lake. That's Fisher. Those big names. And listen to us. We want to play 10-hour sets, bro. I want to play a 10-hour house set. People can party all night to that shit and not feel like they're head banging or jumping too much. And I think that's why it's culturally and socially in the United States specifically, we know it's how big it is everywhere else, is now being much more accepted. Like you even have like places in Chicago petitioning for 24-hour nightclubs, right? Like that was a thing in the fucking 90s. You know, Chicago house music, man, it was like looked down upon. The OGs, the Frankie Knuckles of the world that were resident DJs here, Marshall Jefferson. I'll name drop for you because I'm a Chicago history buff too, bro.
Hell yeah!
Like Move Your Body with that piano house shit coming back with that quick percussion. Black Book is dropping shit like that. Tool Room has always been a big proponent of that too. You see In Row dropping left field stuff and taking chances, and it's fucking working. I've never been more excited to be a house DJ and always have wanted to be a house DJ and committed to that from a production standpoint. And like, I like to do it all. Like, I like all types of music, but where house music is at on Chaz's note, it's very experimental, but it all kind of is falling under this big umbrella. And it's really inspiring too, honestly.
That's a great way to say what I just rambled for 3 minutes about, which is there's no genres anymore. There's no genres anymore. Everything, every element of every subgenre is just sort of blending. Fucking John Summit, dude, he just made tribal house cool again, which is, it's been so niche for so long, and all of a sudden everyone's like, damn, tribal house is sick. And Saved Records is sick, which was a super niche label that no one in the States
super niche.
Mm-hmm. And all of a sudden now they're like, Nick Fanciulli's on higher ground. I mean, he's been on that lineup, but like people are stoked to go see him all of a sudden, which is crazy.
And you can kind of tell too, if you look at the Las Vegas scene, like they do Art of the Wild there at where the same places that the Chainsmokers play, and that shit sells the fuck out. El Row coming to Chicago and doing a festival here. I mean, it's really cool. Like, and Nick Fanciulli playing at the same club where Tiesto plays at and it's selling out. Like, I love that shit. And I love to see that happening because we know how talented those guys are and how good of sets they play and music they make. And yeah, it's a good thing right now for the house world. And you see a lot of the older guys complain sort of because they're like, oh, you guys are just going to get EDM because the house music is the new EDM. And whatever, bro, it's fun as shit right now. And we'll see what happens. And what's happened in the past may not be the same thing that happens in the future. And it's a fun time to be in the music industry, in the house music industry right now too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, sure. I'm interested to get your perspective as someone who's talked to a lot of DJs and a lot of people who are really serious, not, I want to say pretentious, but true artists, true house music artists.
Yeah.
And then and even the other side of it, who are people who are just like pure party guys who just want to party all the time.
Yeah.
I'm curious to get your perspective on the gatekeeping that happens in house music, where there's sort of this weird resistance to all the up and comers. And there's a group of guys who are, oh, well, he can't, what a joke he is. Everyone likes him, so he sucks. You know, that kind of thing. He's ruining house music. And it's weird. It's a weird concept to me, but I don't know. I feel like you have an interesting perspective.
Some are open to it. I think the most simple way I can put it is adapt or die. A lot of these older guys who have been in the game that have all the power, they refuse to use social media to their advantage. They refuse to conform to the times. TikTok might as well be the number 666 to them. Like, and I know a lot of older guys that are very aware and they acknowledge that like younger guys are on the hunt right now. They're just getting tired, but they're gatekeepers and they have power because a lot of them have power at venues, but they can only last so long. And the fact of the matter is, when it comes down to getting booked by agents at big shows, there's only two questions they ask. Can you sell tickets? And what have you done for me lately? And people like you guys are going out and selling tickets and also offering things to them, whether it's a collaboration, whether it's shows in New York, whether it's just like friendly connection. So I think you guys are doing everything right. And I think what I see in the gatekeeping world of the older generation, they're just not adapting, man. And it's sad to see because so many of them are good people, but they get frustrated, they get jealous. And there's always going to be frustrated and jealous people. But it's like, I don't know, the times are changing and you have to adapt or you're going to die.
Damn, well said. Well said. That's why you're proud. That's why you got a podcast. You're very articulate man.
And no, that's honestly great fucking question. And it's something that I talk about and think about all the time, dude. And I always ask people, I think we all want to know, you get into the music industry, how do I get booked? How do I eventually play Lollapalooza? How do I eventually play Tomorrowland? If that's your goal. And it takes a long fucking time is the answer to do that. And it's the people you meet along the way, and it's things that you do for them selflessly. You can't give to get. You have to give to learn and understand. And it's a long road, but it's not an unhappy and not smooth road if you get people in your fucking car and you're going on a road trip. You know what I mean? So that's why I'm hopeful for a lot of people that are getting into it right now. But for anybody listening that is getting into this shit, you got to know it's going to take a while and not everybody pops right away. And John Summit, he's been doing this, guys. I just interviewed his videographer 2 episodes ago, right? Got the whole background story on Summit. I know Summit. He's been doing this shit for a long fucking time. And guess what he did during the pandemic? He adapted. He fucking blew up and he used social media to his advantage. And now he's got a Fisher thing going. He's got enough music to backfill the actual production aspect, but people want to get on the party train with him, dude. And if that's your brand, fucking do it. So that would be my thing.
I gotta share offline with you because Summit's a guy that we DM incessantly as well, but not about music ever. It's all just like troll. Like I want to say trolling him, but we DM him shit and we're like, you're gonna come to Boston. We're going to get you hammered. We're going to put you up on stage. We're going to slap you around a little bit. And then, we're going to get you so hammered that you can't play anymore. We're going to go on stage. We're John Summit now. You have to go and be a software salesman. We live the life of a touring DJ. We find you 20 years later. This is all from a real DM we sent him. We're going to find you 20 years later after, we become jaded and vain and the DJ life isn't fulfilling anymore. We find you in the burbs. We switch back. We reluctantly kiss our new wife on the forehead and accept our fate. while you go and reclaim the rightful title of John Summit. And the guys never responded. Yeah, really well thought out shit. Like we're talking
good, yeah.
we're talking about like there's thought, there's time and effort. And I know he looks at his DMs because he responds to people all the time. And I know he's seen this. Yeah. And he's probably just like, yo, what the fuck are these guys on about?
That's different.
Yeah, and we do that to like a lot of the big names just to see if we can get a reaction. Because it's also funny. I don't know, when people DM us funny stuff, so we don't always respond, but it is always pretty funny. You got to keep it a little bit light. Don't take yourself too seriously out there, guys. You're a DJ after all, you know?
Dude, you're a fucking DJ. Yeah. That's a great piece of advice there too. Don't take yourself too seriously. Very true. Very true. Okay, last question. What can you tell us about what's coming out that you haven't already mentioned? You said Box of Cats coming out in October. You said In Row. Is there anything else? Can you reveal any collaborations?
We have a track coming out on Ferris Wheel in December as well.
Fuck yeah, boys! Congrats on that, Gene Ferris, baby, Chicago legend.
Yeah, it's definitely one of our most favorite tracks too. Every time we play it out, we have people asking for this track at our shows now, which is pretty cool.
Great.
So very excited for that one. Zach, what else?
There's a very, very big name artist that the label hasn't been announced yet, so I can't give away who it is when it's announcing, etc. But I know who else is slated for release on that label, and it's a bunch of really, really big names. And we got lucky and have 2 tracks in the beginning of 2022 is when they're scheduled for. I haven't gotten an update on all the logistics with it, but it's a superstar. It's a bona fide hit maker, this guy, and to have his endorsement is really cool. So we're looking forward to that.
Wow.
We're working on a couple tracks. We have a DJ Susan track that we owe him. We've just been traveling so much. We haven't finished it, but we have a collab coming out with DJ Susan eventually. I don't know where it's going to be yet, but it's going to come out somewhere because DJ Susan makes bangers. And we hopefully make up a bunch of bangers, and they'll be sweet. Yeah. And we're working, we're what else do we have on the schedule, Chaz? I feel like I'm forgetting. Oh, fucking Deep Root. We just signed another track, a melodic techno track with Deep Root last night, actually. So that's another 2022. We have we have a melodic tribal track coming out with them. We have a remix, really exciting remix coming out later this year, depending on radius clauses. I mean, it's almost too tough. I have a routing doc of all our shows and releases and stuff, and I can't keep track of it off the top of my head anymore because it just keeps piling up. So we're so excited for the back half of this year. I mean, there's just so many big things coming.
It's a good problem. Yeah. Where can people see you play? I mean, out in New York and Boston, is there any other shows that we can announce too?
Oh God, Chaz, what do we have right now? I got to pull up in the routing doc live on Sherman the booth.
Let's hear it.
August 7th is our show with Cut Snake, right?
August 7th, direct support for Cut Snake. Oh, you know what? I haven't signed a contract for it yet, but I just got an email about an announcement, so we can announce with the guys from Project 91, which is a great promotion out of New York. That they got Mala, they had Chami the other night. They're doing really big things. If you haven't seen them, check them out. We're doing a party on August 6th with Clyde P as a headline and Daddy Dino, who we're huge fans of.
Yeah.
We have a play with Unnuss's Soiree, a one-off disco only set on the 19th. That's really going to be really cool. It's at the Jane Ballroom. Also not announced yet. If you haven't seen Unnuss's Soiree, quick plug. That's actually who did the vocals on our Deep Root track, the girl who runs that party, which is really cool. One of my best friends for 10 years.
Wow.
Fuck, man. What else, Chaz? What else do we have?
Jesus, boys.
We got all I know is that we're booked pretty much every weekend of August and most of September now. So we're going to be training it back and forth from Boston to New York City every Friday, and just rip shows and then take a shameless train back.
And then we have a really, really exciting thing that is not locked down yet, but if in New York, it is the premier venue. That's going to be a November play tentatively. If it doesn't work out, my bad for teasing it.
We'll cut this later.
Yeah, we'll cut it later. But that's the plan right now, because we were going to come out and do Hood Politics. We were going to try and do which London doesn't know because I haven't talked to him about it yet. But the plan was to do Space Yacht. So I was just going to be like, hey, we're out here. You have to let us play.
Yeah.
We're actually seeing him. We're going to see him on Friday. And he's in New York right now. So we're going to go meet up with him. But yeah, we're going to come do the whole West Coast thing. We had to push it off because we got this unbelievable opportunity for November. So stay tuned on that. Follow us on Instagram. Help us make a little bit more money. We'll guest list you at everything.
Nice. Bartering here for follows.
Yep. Yeah. Dude, that's how you gotta do it.
Shameless plugs.
Actually join, go hit we have a mailing list that is linked in our link tree. This is we announced a bunch of stuff through it. We have a nightclub we're opening on August 20th. I can't announce the location. I can't announce the guy who we're bringing in to headline, but I can tell you there's quite a lot of money being thrown around. The club space is unbelievable. It's a DOS audio sound system. It's the only one outside of 11 that is in the United States. They just went over to Spain to get it. The only way you can get access to that show is if you join our text list, which is linked on our link tree. If you are not on that list, this show will not be announced. There will be no footage of this show. It will be one of the coolest parties in New York, without a doubt, in my damn mind, because I know exactly what's going on the back end.
I'm getting chills, bro. Holy fuck.
This is the party. This is going to be the party to be at for the entire summer. And you cannot get to that party if you are not on our text list. And even then, there is a subgroup of people that we know come to all our shows that get early access to everything. If you come to all our shows and you DM us and we see you at shows all the time, we will make sure that you are at this party. If you are gonna DM us on the day of and ask for a guest list spot, we will not help you and we cannot help you.
Local singles and their wingmen.
Yes. We got to ride. We guess those people.
That's pretty sick, right
there. The wingmen. That's your fan group. The wingmen.
Oh, the wingmen.
That's pretty good. Ooh.
You just did something, Sherm.
Oh, that's cool. I want to be a wingman. Yeah, I'm a wingman. Holy shit, boys.
I think I just broke this hat. Getting hyped. Woo!
We committed to making this one of the best podcasts ever, and I'm walking out of here with a fucking smile on my face, boys. Thanks so much for the time today. Y'all are fucking superstars.
Dude, thank you so much for having us. I mean, this is just, again, like very much like Inro. This is sort of a stamp of a check mark for us. It's okay. We're really doing it now. This is for real. Sherman the Booth was Sherman the Booth and Inro. Same plane for us. So thank you for having us. Hell yeah.
Absolutely, guys.
Really, really honored to be a part of the 170. Oh man, I'm cutting out again.
You're good.
Okay, I just want to say we feel honored to be a part of that 171. All the guys that you have on here, we are avid watchers, so we're just super honored to be a part of it.
Thank you so much, guys. I got a lot of love and respect for you, and I cannot wait to meet you guys in person. It's going to be a bender of a weekend whenever that happens.
Dude, we need it. We need it badly. Let's get Sherm. We got to get you out to New York. We'll chat offline about that.
I got to get you guys to Chicago. We're going to plan for later this year for sure. If you think Boston's cold, I'll take you to Chicago in the winter, okay?
Let's do it. I'm built for it. I'm cold-blooded. I'm cold-blooded anyway, baby. I don't feel it.
Woo! Hell yeah, boys. I want to stay online and just talk for 1 sec too, but I'm going to end the recording right now. Let's say goodbye to the fans.
Thank you guys for tuning in if you're still with us.
Bye, guys. Man, do I love Sherman the Booth. Oh, hey, I think you do too. Hope you enjoyed that piece of content. If you're looking for more, make sure to go to my YouTube channel and hit that subscribe button and turn on all notifications so you don't miss any upcoming Sherman the Booth interviews, live sets, new music, exclusive artist interviews, Sherm's Word, sub-pack reviews, and more. This is your one-stop shop for everything entertainment. Cheers.